there, and let's talk about Dynazenon Episode 5. The episode begins with the team creating a new Dynazenon formation with the core robot and the giant car, which kinda reminds me of a similar combination from Scrimman. I'm pretty sure the homage was intentional though. There's a flashback to Kiyomi in his high school days, where it turns out Inamoto used to be quite the delinquent, breaking windows and stuff. She offers to show Kiyomi something. We'll get back to that. Chise ends up winning free tickets to some water park, and because this is an anime, I knew exactly where this was going, and unfortunately, Dynazenon met my expectations. Sadly. Galma decides to use the trip as an excuse to try and catch one of the Kaiju Eugenesis, which obviously leads to some hilarious antics as he makes a fool of himself. Honestly, he really steals the show here. Something really interesting to note is that Chise insists on wearing her arm warmer at the pool, which, again, I'm convinced is some form of foreshadowing at her past. Now, this is not my personal hypothesis, but I heard someone suggest that Chise may be keeping her arm covered in order to hide the scars of self-harm, which I will admit sounds like a plausible guess. Chise did also mention dropping out of school, which certainly lends credence to the idea. It may be likely that she had been treated badly by other students or even teachers, and that caused her to become a dropout. Seeing as Scrimman had also tackled the themes of depression and mental health, it's likely they could do it again, especially given the show's tagline of "Scarred souls shine like stars." And of course, assuming that Chise had indeed cut herself on the wrists, she would most likely have scars, though that's probably looking at things a bit too literally. There is a scene of Yume eating a churro where she states that she did not have breakfast that morning. Now, on the one hand, this could potentially be hinting at Yume suffering from some issues with self-image. However, on the other hand, I could be just overthinking it. And maybe it really is just a scene of somebody eating a churro put into the episode so the animators could save time and money by animating something with very little movement. As Yume watches people crossing over a pool using a net, she sees a woman fall, which seems to trigger her PTSD. Understandably, she ends up having a panic attack and walks away. Following that, we see that the episode's kaiju manifests itself, an event which appears to be correlated with Yume's anxiety attack. Shizumu approaches Yumogi and Yume and proceeds to wax philosophical about the way that people give themselves purpose, how they want freedom but also constrict themselves. And now, I know this is going to sound really weird, but I kind of think this theme of constrictive freedom is embodied by the amusement park they are at. Many people really love to go on vacations to places like theme parks and resorts and cruise ships because they want to find an escape from the harshness of the real world, and they find solace in a place that can feel isolated from the larger world. Yet, ironically, a lot of these places can end up being just as confining as the real world is. You have to schedule itineraries for activities. You have to wait in lines for rides. You have to book hotels and rent cars. There's a lot of stressful planning and constrictive pigeonholing that goes into something seemingly so relaxing like a family vacation. Yeah, I can totally see how that theme of constrictive freedom applies to a place like the water park they're at. He also explains that kaiju are attracted to people's emotions, which means that the episode's kaiju likely manifested itself in response to Yume's panic attack. And given the hinting at Chise having a rough past and the scene from the opening, I wonder if this means that eventually Chise's trauma will end up creating an incredibly powerful kaiju during the season finale. Now then, one thing I really enjoy about this episode's kaiju battle is that they give some actual justification for the gang having to use one of the alternate combinations for Dynazenon instead of the complete combined mode. The kaiju, which looks like a cross between Regice and a Dumbo octopus, fires its lasers to divert Dynajet away. So Yomogi and Koyomi are forced to use the Dyna Striker combination from the beginning of the episode to paralyze it long enough to combine properly. It's a pretty creative scenario. Oninja dies again. On the way home from the water park, the gang jumps in the water. This time around, Yume does not react with the same anxiety and fear she had before. The next day, Yume and Yomogi meet up with a former classmate of Yume's older sister, and he tells them that her death may have, in fact, been suicide. Alright, so this is where I bring up the flashback of Inamoto and Koyomi again. I think what she was going to show him in the flashback was the corpse of Yume's sister. Given Inamoto's delinquent behavior as a teenager, it is possible that she'd have been callous enough in her younger days to do such a thing. In fact, she might have even been somebody who bullied and harassed Yume's older sister, which may have played a part in her eventual suicide. This is just speculation, of course. So yeah, I think this was an alright episode. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe.